A few years ago, a group of researchers wanted to know what sets the best teachers apart from everyone else. So they conducted an intensive study of 63 of the most successful, acclaimed, award-winning, loved professors from around the nation to see if they could determine what makes them tick. You would think that a central factor might be charisma, an ability to present course material in a compelling way that absolutely galvanizes students, aided, perhaps, by the most striking comb-over in recorded history. And that did matter, but one of the single most important things that defined these great teachers was an ability to frame student work in terms of issues that students care deeply about. Projects that made students feel like they were accomplishing something meaningful. A sequence of assignments that allowed students to really feel how they were growing and improving over time. Questions that made students want to learn more. In other words, these great teachers showed that assessment matters a lot. So, with that line of thinking, I'm going to talk briefly about some key recommendations for the assessment of student learning in your courses. Specifically, we're going to look at 8 tips for success. And rest assured, all 8 of these suggestions come from the literature. They're all evidence-based. And to begin, good assessment should be goal-oriented. Your assessment should be explicitly tied to learning outcomes. Now why? Who cares? Why does this matter? First, it ensures that you are thinking about your most important course objectives in designing your assessments of student learning, which is never a bad thing. Second, it turns learning outcomes into a more consistent and conspicuous presence in your course, which helps students internalize those outcomes. Assessment also should be learner-centered. Think about what students need to succeed. This isn't a game of Clue where you're wondering about whether the butler killed someone with the candlestick in the billiard room. Students don't want to guess in your course. So don't turn this into a guessing game. Assessment methods should provide clear, detailed expectations that help students prepare. On the other end of the spectrum, assessment should be tied to good feedback that helps students improve. Now, assessments also should be thought-provoking. That's probably not a revelation, all right? No one is making an effort to develop assignments that suppress brain activity. But you should think hard about how your assessments promote the use of higher-order cognitive processes. Things like critical thinking and the application of knowledge and skills, and metacognition, which in basic terms is defined as thinking about thought processes, an analysis of what you do and do not know, and why you know what you do. In a related sense, at least some assessments should focus less on factual information and more on transferable knowledge and skills. So, for example, help students improve their information literacy. Give them the tool set to wade through the massive glut of information on the internet and separate the good info from the bad. Also try to make your assessments compelling. Use them as an opportunity to illuminate the questions that people really care about. Tell your students you're going to talk about key principles of environmental and resource science, and they probably won't be hanging on every word. So pose a central question in this amazing field. How much longer will we be able to survive on the water available in southern Nevada? How will we prevent this right here from turning into this? In the social sciences, you could ask, is intergroup conflict inevitable? Can we ever possibly avoid it? And how will we know? Where possible, come up with assessments that are authentic. Give students an opportunity to apply what they have learned to real-world issues that they care about. What would you rather do? Learn the principles of microbiology so you can take a comprehensive exam? Or learn these principles so you can develop an artificial virus that only kills cancer cells, which was an actual project in one of our courses. The students not only had to learn the key concepts, they wanted to learn them so they could tackle a really important problem. Now, in looking at your entire course, the full 15-week semester, try to ensure that your assessments are multifaceted. Use a variety of different methods where the strengths of one compensate for the weaknesses of another. It's kind of like an academic Swiss Army knife. Some tools might be better for examining writing skills, others might be best suited for an assessment of foundational knowledge. Only by using all of them in concert can you best examine student learning. Also, in looking at your entire course, try to craft assessments that are longitudinal in nature, assessments that gauge student performance over time and give students a sense of how much they're progressing and the pride that can accompany that progress. Where possible, Give them multiple opportunities to revise a single assignment. Make it iterative. And finally, try to balance your assessments across the entire course term. And you can do that by starting early. Don't wait until week 4 or 5 for the first meaningful assessment of their learning. And also, let the students test their knowledge at regular and consistent intervals, which has been shown to be a practice that promotes good learning. And that's it. You are now a certified master of assessment.